Good afternoon and welcome. This is Wednesday, the 22nd day of April. And as we gather once again for this midweek update, just want to again offer a word of thanks to those who have been sending along messages either through our Facebook page or through emails. Eventually we will respond to all of those emails. Also a reminder to any young people that are out there and parents of Sunday school children, beginning last week and in the weeks to come, we will be posting the Sunday school curriculum from our Seasons of the Spirit program on the Cathedral website. So you will find that material there every week. It's full of information, craft activities as well. And do keep posting and sending along pictures that we can share again on our Facebook page. Today is also, among other things, Earth Day. A day to celebrate this place that we call home. I was reading a book by Wendell Berry in this past week, and he makes the point that we are all trustees of this planet that we share. And even something as simple as a potted plant in your home is a reminder of how our actions affect the planet that we live on. A great song for any young people out there. It's written by Tom Chapin, that's C-H-A-P-I-N, Tom Chapin, and it's titled Happy Earth Day. Look that one up. I'm sure you will love it. This has been a very stressful and difficult week for all Nova Scotians as we have dealt with the violence of this past weekend on top of the ongoing crisis of the pandemic. Just want to share with you that there is an online book of condolences that has been set up by the province, and you can find that online where you can share your thoughts and feelings. Also, there will be an online vigil for Friday at 7 o'clock. You can find more information about that online as well. Premier Stephen McNeil is encouraging Nova Scotians to tie either a blue ribbon or a scarf or the provincial tartan around a tree, balcony, or place it in your window as a sign of solidarity. As he says, it may not seem like much, but for now it's a way for all of us to come together without coming together. And also on the provincial website, you can find a couple of items to print and place in the window of your house. One is this, that's a map of our province and the phrase, Stronger Together. And the other is the Nova Scotia tartan in a ribbon imposed over a heart. So look for those online on the Nova Scotia government website. I've chosen as a poem for this week one that I think fits with the challenges that have been before us. And this poem is written by Seamus Heaney. Seamus Heaney was an Irish poet, playwright, and translator. He received the 1995 Nobel Peace Prize for Literature. He was a lecturer at St. Joseph's College in Belfast in the early 1960s, where he first began to publish his poetry. Heaney was also a professor at Harvard from 1981 to 1997 and poet in residence from 1988 to 2006. He was also professor of poetry at Oxford and lived in Sandy Point, Dublin until his death in August of 2013. The official title of this poem is a rather long one. It's titled The Cure at Troy, a version of Sophocles' Philoctetes, first published in 1991. It was written during the end of the apartheid regime in South Africa as Nelson Mandela was released from prison, demonstrating that change was possible. It was also quoted at a memorial service during the aftermath of the Boston Marathon bombings in April of 2013. Heaney's translation emphasizes the role of poetry as, quote, the voice of reality and justice in coping with terrible events. And here is the poem. Human beings suffer. They torture one another. They get hurt and get hard. No poem or play or song can fully right a wrong inflicted and endured. The innocent in jails beat on their bars together. A hunger striker's father stands in the graveyard dumb. The police widow in veils faints at the funeral home. History says don't hope on this side of the grave. But then once in a lifetime, the longed-for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history rhyme. So hope for a great sea change on the far side of revenge. Believe that further shore is reachable from here. Believe in miracle and cures and healing wells. Call miracle self-healing, the utter self-revealing double take of feeling. If there's fire on the mountain, or lightning and storm, and a God speaks from the sky, that means someone is hearing the outcry and the birth cry of new life at its turn. The song I've chosen this week is one that reflects again, I think, the mood of the moment. Written by Halifax's own Sarah Mclaughlin. Sarah was born January 28, 1968 in Halifax, and began playing music from a very young age, starting with a ukulele at age 4. She studied classical guitar, classical piano, and voice at the Maritime Conservatory of Music here in Halifax. At age 17, while a student at Queen Elizabeth High School, she fronted a short-lived rock band called the October Game. This song is called In the Arms of the Angel, or simply Angel, from her album Surfacing. And it was written in response to the tragic heroin overdose of Jonathan Mclaughlin in 1996, a keyboard player for the Smashing Pumpkins. She said that she identified with the feeling about musicians trying to cope with the pressures of the music industry and how that might lead someone to substance abuse. The melody is simple and haunting, and among the lyrics are those which speak of a sadness that can bring us to our knees. In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room and the endlessness that you fear. You are pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort there. Sarah Mclaughlin's In the Arms of an Angel. And finally, today's prayer is one quoted in a pastoral letter by our Bishop Ron Cutler this week. It comes from the writings of Rabbi John Desmond Rayner. Rayner was born in Berlin, May 30th, 1924, as Hans Sigmund Rayner. He escaped Berlin in 1939, 9 months prior to the official outbreak of the Second World War. He was one of approximately 10,000 children taken by Kindertransport as part of a rescue mission by the United Kingdom to bring to safety children from Nazi Germany, Czechoslovakia, Poland, and Nazi-occupied Austria. These children were placed in British foster homes, hostels, schools, and farms. Both of his parents, Ferdinand and Charlotte, died during the Holocaust. John would go on to become a rabbi in the South London Liberal Synagogue in 1953, author of numerous books on ethics, theology, and Jewish-Christian relations. He was voted one of the best preachers in Britain in 1976 and was awarded Commander of the Order of the British Empire in 1993 in recognition of his interfaith work. So as we continue to remember those whose lives have been reshaped by this COVID crisis, and particularly remembering the staff and residents of Northwood, let us also today uplift both the victims and all of those who have been impacted by the violence of this past weekend. In prayer, we remember the lives of Lillian Heislop, Joey Weber, Greg and Jamie Blair, Kristen Beaton, Heather O'Brien, Constable Heidi Stevenson, Lisa McCauley, Tom Bagley, Alana Jenkins, Sean McLeod, Erin, Jolene Oliver and Emily Tuck, Don Madsen and Frank Gillishan, Corey Ellison, Elizabeth Joan Thomas and John Joseph Zal, Gina Goulet, Joy, and Peter Bond. This prayer of hope by Rabbi Rayner. When evil darkens our world, give us light. When despair numbs our souls, give us hope. When we stumble and fall, lift us up. When doubt assails us, give us faith. When nothing seems sure, give us trust. When ideals fade, give us vision. When we lose our way, be our guide, that we may find serenity in your presence and purpose in doing your will. Amen. Stay safe, keep in touch, and keep the faith. Amen.